year was 1843. A young missionary journeyed deep into the northern wilderness, a land of wide rivers, towering pines, and endless silence. Beside him traveled his interpreter and friend, a man of the land, patient and wise. For many days they paddled together, through mist and wind, bound by purpose and trust. The missionary's heart was full of faith, yet he had not yet learned the full weight of grace. One morning, as they journeyed through a narrow forest trail, a sound broke the stillness, movement in the brush. The missionary, startled, raised his gun, and in that single heartbeat of fear and instinct, the shot rang out. And when the echo faded, his friend and interpreter lay still upon the earth. He fell to his knees, his hands trembling as he called the man's name, but there was no answer, only the wind whispering through the pines. The weight of his action crushed him. He prayed aloud, begging God to take him to undo what could never be undone, and yet the silence that answered was not judgment, but sorrow. He buried his friend by the river's edge and marked the place with a simple cross of birch, and then he began the long journey back, alone now, haunted by his own mistake. The current carried him onward, but his spirit lagged behind, tangled in grief and guilt. At night, he could still see the man's face in the glow of the fire, calm, forgiving, unblaming. It was then he knew what he must do. Days later, he came to the interpreter's village. The people gathered as he approached, their eyes cold, their weapons ready. He came with no defense, only truth. "I have accidentally killed my friend," he said, his voice shaking. "I ask not for mercy, only that I may face whatever I deserve." The chief stepped forward, the father of the man who the missionary had slain. For a long time he said nothing. Then, in the old tongue, he spoke quietly. "You have done wrong thing, but you have spoken truth. My son would not have wanted your death. You shall live, and you shall take his place as my son." The missionary bowed his head, tears falling onto the earth that had once divided them. Together they stood beside the river where the two men had once traveled. The chief placed his hand upon his shoulder, and in that gesture was everything words could not say: forgiveness, brotherhood, and peace. The missionary wept openly, for he knew that in that moment, grace had found him. Years later, he would write of that day, not as a moment of despair, but as a turning of the soul. "In the eyes of the people I feared most," he wrote, "I found the heart of Christ himself." The rivers still run quiet in that northern land, and the pines still whisper in the wind. But somewhere in their silence, two voices remain, one that sinned and one that forgave. And together, they are the echo of grace.